Welcome back. NOPD and Crimestoppers of Greater New Orleans are asking for the public's help solving a cold case murder from 1981. Joining us now with Crimestoppers President and CEO Darlene Costanza to talk about the investigation and how the community may be able to help. This is a sad one. I mean, 40 plus years of not knowing answers for this family.
Absolutely. And I can tell you, for any family that we talked to, and particularly this one, because we reopened it because we had some information that we were hearing, they just don't want their loved ones forgotten. I mean, certainly they want justice, but they don't want their loved ones forgotten. And this young man, I mean, he was 30 years old when this occurred. He was someone who actually lived in Lafayette, but had lived for a while in Metairie. Loved the city, came here for his friends. This happened to be Super Bowl weekend, but he came for a basketball game. Okay. He used to play basketball all the time. It was USL and UNO. And after the game, he and his friends went to a party, house party, and then they came. His name is, of course, Donald Fole. And they were at a party. They went to the French Quarter because they loved listening to jazz, and they had set him up with a blind date. So they stood with all of their friends, and then after all the friends left from the French Quarter, they actually took and walked in the French Quarter, went down and had beignets at Cave du Monde, and then about 6 a.m. decided to go to the moonwalk and see the river, and that's where all of this happened. And again, this was January 25th, 1981. So they were down on the moonwalk, he and his new date, and they were watching the river, they were watching a boat, so he was standing behind her, and two individuals kind of approached them. And they actually spoke. They said, hey, cold this morning. You know, it's cold out there. Mm-hmm. And they did reply, yes, it is. And then they came back. It's cold. And before he knew it, they were behind him. They started attacking him. And this young man, he was stabbed 15 times. So 15 times, the young lady, they had brushed against the young lady. She was able to escape, run up the moonwalk and to Decatur and found an NOPD officer who was in his car. They ran back. Actually, I think there was a train that came in, but they ran back. And when they found him, the suspects were gone. And certainly he was laying dying there at the foot of the moonwalk next to the rocks. He had fallen. So what we know back then is we put out this sketch. Now this sketch is from 1981, but there were two individuals. One was an accomplice and the other one was a suspect. Look at the suspect because he had a very distinctive hat on. It was not a floppy straw hat. It was like a cowboy big brim hat, brownish colors. He also had a very thin mustache, very thin, approximately 35 to 40, very slender, and he had a very long coat on. And this coat was sort of like an army coat with big pockets. That's what the witness kept saying, very big pockets. The other individuals kind of stood watch, is what the police thought, and he had blonde curly hair, and he had a rust-colored jacket. So this went out. There were several people of interest that they had talked to. There was an individual who was walking dogs at the time, and I'm not sure how much information they were able to get from him, but we're putting them out again today because this was a very busy weekend. The moonwalk was a very popular place back then. Somebody might just remember something that day, or certainly recognize seeing these individuals. There's a $5,000 cash reward now for this case. So, we're praying with the family that this information is going to come forward and find justice.
Yeah, this family deserves that. Well, thank you so much for this. We appreciate you coming on and telling us more about this.
Thank you.
Somebody out there knows something. For more information on this cold case investigation or how to submit a tip, if maybe you were there, you know somebody who was, and you start talking and remember anything, even the smallest thing can help. If you want to submit a tip to Crimestoppers, head to our website, wwtv.com, for more information. And also that press conference you guys have today at 1 p.m. at the Moonwalk Riverfront near Decatur and St. Peter Streets to share more on this.